Lightning Energy team has been our premium installer in Victoria for a while, so it's really hard to get a premium tag. So it means long-term relationship with Tesla, a high quality of installation, a high level of trust and communication between Lightning and Tesla. So we only have a few in the state. So we're very, very happy to have Lightning be here with us, and I'm going to introduce Kale and Blake to do their presentation. Thank you very much.
Yep. Cool, no worries. All right, thanks guys. It's been a good turnout tonight. We really do appreciate you guys coming down here. As Harry said, it's a bit of a mission to get down here later on the middle of the week sort of thing. So firstly, my name's Kale, this is Blake. We're gonna just dive into a quick presentation tonight. And then as said, once we get through it all, we'll have some questions at the end and then break off. There's a bunch of Lightning Energy members around at the moment. So if anyone's got Lightning, please put your hand up, because you can go have a chat to them after the presentation is done.
So again, on behalf of Lightning and Tesla, thanks for everyone coming here. And I presume after talking about this wonderful product behind us, we've got a lot of questions about federal rebates. It is something that's relatively straightforward, but there's a lot of information about it, so it can be quite overwhelming. Obviously, came into effect on July 1st, so it's quite recent, and there's a lot of chatter about this. The rates that we're looking at here, we're looking at $2.3 billion of funding, and that's set to be exhausted approximately 2030, but whether it runs out earlier or not, we'll touch on that a little bit later. And on average, it's looking at about a 30% decrease in the cost of installing a home battery for all of you guys. And again, aiming for about 1 million battery installs residentially throughout the country by 2030 at that point.
And one quick thing that we had a bit of a look at was obviously seeing that it was a $2.3 billion influx with these STCs. On average, most sort of battery, or how much is actually being allocated per battery, is about $6,000 per rebate. So if you have a look at $6,000 across 2.3 billion, that really only works out to be about 380,000 rebates, which sounds like a lot, but across the nation, that's not too many people, right? So look, it is a battery forecast across 2026, which is sort of looking around about 200,000 batteries. But one thing that we were a little bit worried about, that was projected for 2030, could it potentially run out a little bit sooner? We're not too sure. And if we actually, there's another slide in here that will talk about how much the rebate amount actually drops over time.
So obviously there's a lot of objectives with this moving into place. So for a long time, there's been a lot of interest, particularly in solar. Now there's a lot of systems in the country, especially in Victoria, where people have solar set up and they might be exporting a lot of energy to the grid at different times of the day. And it's obviously not for a lot in some cases. So batteries are something that a lot of people have been looking into. Sometimes there's a bit of a financial barrier there for some. And with the way our infrastructure is looking, there's some nice incentives now to look at storing that energy and using it. Now, again, some of the main objectives here we're looking at are boosting renewable targets in the state, so encouraging people to store the energy as opposed to getting it from fossil fuel sources. Easing the cost of living, of course. So over time, we don't know what's going to happen to the price of electricity, up, down, or in circles. If anyone could predict it, we would. So again, we see a lot of people taking up batteries now to sort of ease that at the minute. Another thing, of course, too, is enhancing your energy security. So there's plenty of scenarios where you might produce, say, 50 or 60 kilowatt hours of electricity in a day, and you might not have anything left for the evening. So having a battery is a great way of capitalizing on that excess energy and using it when you're actually going to be in need of that power.
And also another one as well that I thought was really interesting is as far as expanding jobs in the renewable sector, especially young apprentices that are looking to get a job, but it also improves the supplier industry. And just overall, the general renewable sector is something that is obviously a growing space. So when you are looking at buying a battery and that you are putting in some money into the industry, it is obviously supporting jobs across Australia as well. So the guys already sort of spoke about this a little bit more in regards to the DC expansion pack as well. So again, talking about if your Tesla Powerwall 3 plus a DC expansion pack, 27 kilowatt hours, potentially up to $9,288 worth of rebate, which I believe the maths is good there. We good, fellas? Yeah, cool. All right, no way. So this is the slide that I was going to mention before, just in regards to how the battery dollar amount is going to decrease per year. I don't know if anyone's ever had solar before and actually had STCs on their solar quotes. STCs have always decreased over once we move into the calendar year. So as we can sort of see for 2026, the projection is that we were $344 per kilowatt hour this year, but then it could potentially be moving into the $312. And I don't know if many people can read it up the back there, but potentially all the way down to 2030, if it does make it that far, it could be looking at about $173 per kilowatt hour. So it'll slowly decrease over time. So something to keep in mind.
Does the 50 stay the same?
What's that, sorry?
Does the 50 kilowatt max stay the same?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So obviously there's a pretty wide range of eligibility for the program. It's a pretty widely encouraged thing. So eligible groups at the moment are including homeowners, small businesses, community facilities. There's no means testing as well, which is a great thing. So irrespective of your income, the value of the property, things we've seen before in Solar Victoria incentives and other programs, it's a little bit more lax, so it's more accessible for everyone. Again, main requirements are that it's either paired with an existing solar system. So if you've got a system that's 5 years old, 10 years old, 2 years old, you put it in last week, it doesn't matter. Or that it's installed alongside an existing system. So if you're thinking of doing the whole kit and caboodle at once, it's a good way to start there. Another requirement too is the battery that you're fitting is compatible with a virtual power plant. It doesn't mean you have to participate in a virtual power plant, but you have that functionality there. That's one of the requirements. All right, and obviously when we're looking at why jump on this, just touching on what Kale said before, with the amount of people that are expected to take up this program, and especially what we're seeing at the moment, we're not confident that these figures are going to stay the same for the longest period of time. We're projecting that this could run out in a handful of years, potentially before 2030. And obviously there's a lot of interest for people to jump in now and capitalise on that higher rebate incentive as it stands at $344 a kilowatt. Again, every calendar year that number does drop, as do the SDCs. Yeah, I can. Cheers. Go, Kale.
Cool. So this was actually from a case study for Luke's house, who he's always quite happy to share that he's got a $900 credit on his power bill, which must be nice, but it is really achievable as well, and especially if people are starting to consider some larger battery storage. So just in this, what Luke's got at home is that he's got a 13 kilowatt solar array on the roof. He's got a solar edge inverter, Tesla Powerwall 2, and he's also got 2-story reverse cycle AC. Must be nice. And also one electric vehicle at home. Now, as I said, it's a $900 credit that he's got there on his power bill, but he has also looked into particular energy plans, which is something that we will touch on a little bit more as well. It is sort of really the cherry on top when you're looking into getting solar and battery, reducing your energy bill, and then also choosing the right plan. So in this one, for example, Luke has chosen OVO, which they do actually give you a free window of power during the middle of the day. And what you can also do with your energy storage solutions is actually schedule charge from the grid. So if it's a window during the middle of the day, free grid electricity, it's winter time, there's less solar PV available. It is a way that you can offset and charge up your battery just a little bit easier. And his last payable bill was 2 years ago. Go Luke. So this is AC coupling and DC coupling that we're going to talk about. Just a show of hands, who's actually got solar at home already? Solar plus battery? Nothing at all. Cool. All right. No worries. So basically, AC coupling is where you do already have a solar array at home, and then you do look at installing the Tesla Powerwall 3, which is both a DC and AC coupled battery. So obviously, anyone can really look at one of these systems. And then with DC coupling is when you're starting from fresh, where you've got no solar on the roof, you just connect your panels directly into the Tesla Powerwall 3 battery. And this is about Amber. I'll let Blake take that away.
Yeah, of course. So touching again on virtual power plants, everyone's across virtual power plants here. There was a few hands I saw at the start. Essentially, virtual power plants are something a lot of people are looking into, again, to offset those costs and to supplement the grid. It is something that can help with the return on your battery. Everyone's case by case, it can be a little bit different. And again, all batteries that participate, particularly Powerwall 3 and anything else on the market, has to be VPP compatible to be able to claim these rebates. Amber's a great example where you can actually trade wholesale electricity prices with your battery. So rather than paying or being paid or credited a fixed amount back for everything that you feed to the grid, you can actually take advantage of real-time wholesale electricity prices as they fluctuate. I believe it's a 5 or 15-minute interval. So obviously in the morning, when electricity potentially is an average cost, there might be a lot of people charging or discharging their batteries. In the evening, relative when there's not a lot of solar, because there's no sun in the sky, the spot price for electricity generally, I say generally, will increase. So that's when you'll see people discharging their batteries. So it is something you can look into if you wanted to potentially speed up your return a little bit, or just participate in something new.
Cool.
Okay, because that's what I'm interested in. My usage is this big,
Yep.
and my solar goes that much. And okay, I haven't paid a bill for the last 3 bills.
Beautiful. Yep.
But I want to get a battery, and can I store that, and can I sell that back to them?
Absolutely.
Because I get a huge gas bill.
You're going to sell it back at the same price.
But am I going to? I can sell it back at a dearer price than they're giving me. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So,
They're going to give me 1.5 cents.
feeding
And they're going to charge me 30 or 50. So I can sell that back more than my 1.5 cents.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole idea of it. So a lot of the times you'll be exporting with Amber during those peak demands when the need for renewables is much higher. And you also got to think in
Look at it. I use this much and I put in that much. If you look at the graph.
I use this much.
Yeah.
Next door.
Yeah. All right. So I suppose this is just us thanking Tesla a little bit more, and also just pointing out as well that, you know, when you are choosing a battery overall, you really do need to think about the credibility of that battery and where it's going to be in the market. You know, there are plenty of options that are really coming into the market right now. Some of them newer than others. That's where we've seen the reputability of Tesla be really at its highest point. This is something that Luke loves to talk about with market cap in the financial world. As you can see, there's no other solar and battery brands included there. So the security around Tesla as a company to be able to support the battery, but then even just the support from Tesla Australia in general is fantastic. So it's not really something that we see too much with some other batteries out there in the market, whereas these guys have always really been there for their customers and us as installers as well. Ceramic fuses. Does anyone have this? You're not shamed, but does anyone have one of these boards? Yeah. Okay, so it's time to upgrade. Especially from a safety and compliance point of view, this is something that we're finding pop up quite a lot. Even with some systems that do have a circuit board, there are some other requirements that we need as solar and battery installers. But obviously coming back with your ceramic fuses, they just need to be upgraded. It is more of a safety concern. I don't know if many people can see it up the back there, but you can see this fuse is actually blown out and has caused a fire to a lesser degree. Which is something that is obviously pretty scary when we talk about anything solar or battery related. And a lot of the times those problems are really resonated with the switchboard, right? So what we're really leaning everyone to do is to move towards upgrading their switchboards, considering, you know, moving towards circuit breakers that actually are individually protected. We do have a group of lists and requirements inside the switchboard, particularly for solar and battery installs. So I could waffle on and bore you about that. But if you do have a switchboard and you are interested in talking about solar and batteries, come have a chat to any of the reps here, or anyone that's in the sales and design team. Show us photos of your switchboard, because it is really important from a safety perspective. And cool. So the last thing that we've got here is just talking about our offer for today with Tesla Powerwall 3. So at the moment, we've got a Tesla Powerwall 3 13.5 kilowatt retrofit from $16,500 with your $4,644 rebate, with a $500 discount would bring you down to the upfront cost of $11,356. Do come and have a chat to us about it, because again, we want to see switchboards, understand cable runs, all those sort of good things. But then also as well, you've got the opportunity, once approved, with the DC expansion packs, which shouldn't be too much longer, from a $29,000 installation with a $9,280 rebate with a $1,000 discount on top of it. So you're sort of looking at around that $18,000 mark.
So that's installed.
Installed, correct.